Welcome to the Hookup on Music with your host, Tony Bird.
Hello, everyone out there, and welcome to tonight's episode of the Hookup on Music. Episode number 90 is here, and just in time for October. If you have just missed the amazing Bruhan Luke, he just went through this week's college matchups, which I thought was amazing as always. So thank you very much. Bruhan Luke, always a good time to always share any amount of minutes on talking some college football with you. I remember going to an Ohio State football game where the kicker's last name was Nugent, and this might be the only time we ever talk about him. He used Ted Nugent as his music, which I thought was actually pretty cool at the time. This is before we heard TED Talk a lot more. TED Talk. But everyone, thank you for joining me again. I am Tony, and I am the host of the Hookup on Music. Tonight we have a lot to get to, so let's get started. Lots of new albums were released on today, or released recently, that we have yet to make our way and share with you. A few releases which I don't know if you know, but Coldplay has a new album that just was released, Moon Music. They seem to, every album, get a little bit further away from that original sound. You could go through, and honestly, a lot of good stuff was released today. I was shared some stuff that I have never listened to before. Honestly, one album that was really good was Drug Church, which they played recently at the amazing Riot Fest that we covered last week. But their album Prude was really good. That was shared with me. Another really awesome album, if you're into metal, is a band Undeath. More Insane is the name of that album. And honestly, just check both of these out today. They were sent to me, which is always awesome when I have really good albums being sent my way, which is honestly a good thing. Also, last night playing a really awesome show was a Gate Creeper and Frozen Soul, which honestly was something that I just honestly, Frozen Soul, if you do not get the opportunity to, and have not, to check them out, they played the Bottom Lounge yesterday, which is a really awesome venue to see any artist. But those are some of the new releases. Again, if you are a fan of The Smile, which I don't know if you've listened to them, but we've talked about them before on the show. Thom Yorke's side project from Radiohead, Cutouts, that was released today. That's a brand new one. And I like the way they just put their music together. So I'm looking to dig deeper into that one. That's going to be really good. Also, really good was a new album that if you have not got a chance to listen to, I know my main man who just wrapped up his show, Bruhan Luke, he has gotten to, and that is the brand new Billy Strings. Okay, Highway Prayers. Really good album. If you are a fan of Billy, or you have not listened to Billy Strings, a great album to just dive right into and get started. An excellent player on the scene, as you can tell by one of these tracks that were, it's just sounds really good off this new album. What I like about Mr. Billy, and I think a lot of people will also agree, is he's just able to play with so many different artists and able to go in and let his style mix with their style. And on this new album, he does that really good. And honestly, it's a mixture. Okay, this album, it's got 20 original and 12 bluegrass tracks. Okay, some really awesome writing though. Again, I liken it to be a nice evolution for Mr. Billy. If you have not listened to this album, definitely check it out and let us know, because it is really good. With an album like this, I definitely like to what's the word I'm looking for? Dig deeper and keep listening to it. this one is definitely going to be one of those. I was reading a review for this album, and somebody compared it to a little bit to Fish's Farmhouse, which was very interesting because that was the first album and really the only album by Fish that I ever owned on CD that I went and bought, and I really love that CD a lot. Not an indication why I didn't buy any more, but Billy Strings, I definitely will buy more. But this album is really really good. It does a good job of letting you feel what he is also bringing to the stage, which some studio takes does not sometimes give you that feeling. Like recently, you can listen to like some old Bob Seger tracks and listen to live Bob Seger, and you could hear almost like an injection into the performances. And Billy is he's good any which way, but definitely worth checking out if you get a chance. Is Billy String's new album, Highway Prayers. Really really good stuff. Definitely looking into checking that one out a little bit more, but definitely really good. um Also, if you have not heard, Oasis is coming to America, and they have planned their sold out tour, which only has 5 dates. Okay. Mexico City, Los Angeles, New Jersey, Chicago, and Toronto. So 5 opportunities only to see this band. And well, these tickets sold out, but all of these shows, besides Soldier Field, which is really odd, Toronto, New Jersey, California, Mexico City, they all have 2 dates. Chicago just has 1, sold out. But if you're interested in seeing them, I'm curious to hear what they're going to sound like. But I don't know, what is this for? Why are they getting back together? Is this, usually I personally, this might be just something from me. This might be by other people, but I definitely like to hear, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit of new music, usually, especially from a band like this who hasn't been around for a little while. I mean, take a look at the Black Crowes. I do know they got started with a tour first, and then they made the new album. Hopefully, maybe we'll get the same thing here, and it isn't these just 5 dates, because this always kind of reminds me. Hopefully, it's not just. But I'd like to see some new music. Not that they. Do you think? I don't know. Do they still put out the same level of music as their first 4 albums? That is to be determined. They have a lot of good music on all of their albums, but definitely worth to get into. Um, Very, very, very sad news that we did not get to talk about. And honestly, we have talked about this man on the show before. So it'll be a real shame if we skipped over this. Sadly, last Saturday, the day after we had our last show, the amazing Kris Kristoferson passed away. And Kris Kristoferson, if you are not really familiar, was just really, really awesome and a pioneering figure in just kind of like a really awesome kind of different country vibe. I don't know if they liked it being called outlaw country, but it just isn't definitely like the country like the recently reunited Rascal Flats. This is definitely something a little different. And I used to hear stories that even Chris would go into bars just with his acoustic guitar and just play. And man, this guy, really, really awesome voice.
In the sky.
Definitely gives you awesome songwriting chops. Okay. Me and Bobby McGee, if you are familiar with the Janis Joplin track, that was written by Kris Kristoferson. For the Good Time, Sunday Morning Coming Down, all written by Mr. Kristoferson. His 1970 debut, Kristoferson, definitely has a lot of good tracks. If you have not sat down and listened to that one, Darby's Castle's really good. Casey's Last Ride. But again, it's really sad when you lose somebody as awesome, as important as Mr. Kristoferson, because he just really, I mean, he played with a lot of awesome people. He was a really awesome actor too. We could talk about his acting chops quite a bit. But his musicianship was just really bar none, an excellent excellent, what's the word I'm looking for? Musical talent. Um, Teaming up with Johnny Cash, okay, Willie Nelson, just really, really the Highwaymen. If you have never ever listened to them, they are really an awesome, awesome super group. Okay, that were between 85 and 95. Okay, it was Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, and Kris Kristoferson. Really putting out really quality work when they work together. Some good music videos too. If you get a chance to dig in, check out the Silver Stallion video, always a classic. But Christopherson always had no problem. I mean, he collaborated with Snoop Dogg. He collaborated with Jamie Johnson, who I've had the honor of meeting. But just a really, really awesome musician, and sometimes doesn't get talked about enough. Which honestly, when you're thinking about it, his music needs and should be talked about more. Because to be fair, um, sometimes we get drowned out by a lot of things that we don't end up hearing, and we need to hear it. If that makes any sense, it probably was a little confusing. But that being said, Kris Kristofferson was awesome, and definitely check out some of his music. Um, if you have not yet, please head on down to Sadistic Penguin Studios.com. Okay, we have been writing a blog every single day about a scary Halloween song. Okay, the 4 we've done so far, because there is 4 days in October so far, and today is October 4th, has been we got started with a real classic in Pet Cemetery by the Ramones. An awesome, awesome track. You can head on down to the article and see some really awesome and interesting facts about that. Next up, which was to me just an amazing, amazing track and a pick, was the Specials' Ghost Town. If you haven't heard this song, I definitely think it would be perfect on any one of your Halloween playlists. All the clubs are being closed. Check these articles out. They're awesome. Oingo Boingo's Dead Man's Party. And today's article, just go down and check it out and see what it is, because honestly, it's awesome. Stick around later. We're I'll talk about it. You just don't know. But check out these articles. They're really awesome. And also, check out my main man, Yumper. He's really doing a great job on the he's counting down, okay, some of the amazing movies of horror in 31 days. He did it 2 years ago, he did it last year, he did it this year, and honestly, I'm always excited to see what one's next. Even though he sent me the list about a month and a half ago, I threw it away and I forgot what they are, so I'm always excited to see what was next. Hellraiser was today. Great soundtrack on that movie. But again, check those articles out. Really cool stuff. What's really also really cool is the track by the Beatles, Helter Skelter. Coming down fast, but I'm miles above you. It's a long time since I really sat down and talked the Beatles, and this is not what we're doing here tonight. I'm just going to talk really quickly about the track Helter Skelter. And honestly, when I picked out this picture, if you're watching online, Got to Get You Into My Life, the juxtaposition of both of those tracks on the same album, hearing them back to back, if you had never heard them back to back before for the first time, has to be extremely interesting to the listener, because they're just so different in so many ways. Helter Skelter is just a song that the first time I heard it, it kind of confuses me when some people say the Beatles don't really what's the word I'm looking for? They can't really rock. When honestly, it is been regarded as an early development into the musical genre of just heavy. I mean, you could say heavy metal. But in 76 is when the promo you're looking at online, it was released as a B-side to Got to Get You Into My Life in the United States, to promote the Capitol Records rock and roll music contribution. Song's been covered by lots and lots of artists. Susie and the Banshees, Motley Crue, Aerosmith, U2, Oasis, Pat Benatar. Honestly, even McCartney has frequently played it live. he was inspired, McCartney was inspired by an interview that he saw with Mr. Pete Townsend, where he was described as saying, "The I Can See for Miles," which I love a lot, is the loudest, rawest, dirtiest song the Who has ever recorded. McCartney said in regard to that, he wrote Helter Skelter, which was very, very interesting to have that kind of reaction to I Can See for Miles. Helter Skelter is a lot heavier than that. Um, Lennon has said that, acknowledged that that song is all Paul. He really has nothing to do about it alone. Paul wrote that. It was all Paul. So Paul could rock. A lot of people always confused and said Paul could not rock, but Paul could really, really bring the rock. And this was a great track on the second side of the amazing White Album, which of course, we're going to do a whole episode one day on the White Album, but just a really great track from that album. If you have not heard it in a long time, very, very cool. It had come across my radar and wanted to share that with you. Up next, the Chemical Brothers. I don't know if you've ever listened to them, but this track is where I got my introduction a long time ago on the one and only MTV. Really, really, again, awesome band. Last week we talked a little bit about Daft Punk. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the Chemical Brothers, which honestly, really, really great band. If you get a little bit like, oh, they're DJ. No, there's a lot of good vocals on some of these albums that we're going to talk about here for a few minutes. Definitely really, really cool. They're originally known as the Dust Brothers, but they had to change their name because there was another existence of that happening. But they came together in 1992 as the Dust Brothers, and they've been together ever since. Ed Simmons and Tom Rollins would love to see these guys live. This would definitely be something that I would see them even on a Monday because honestly, they put out really, really good music together. Their albums, if you get time, you could just go and say they got 10 albums, okay? You could go to album number 5, currently on a commercial right now, Galvanize, which has the amazing, amazing Q-Tip singing on it, which we talked about producing that new LL Cool J album that I'm still spinning, so check that one out. But Galvanize, the song, great, great track. That was released back in 2004. And honestly, this duo does not miss in their musical endeavors and what they are trying to accomplish. They definitely, on this album, push the button, which is said in the track. If you're listening in the commercial, if you ever happen to see it, push the button is the main thing that is being said. But the second track off the album, The Boxer, which was a really, really great, awesome song, is sung by the Charlatans. Tim Burgess sings that one. But this whole album, they get guest vocalists. They put together awesome music. It could be beats. It could be, as you could heard in the track that we heard there for a second. It could be a lot of different things, but what they definitely do is bring the artist in. And honestly, bringing the artist in is exactly what you are trying to do here, because being you don't want to be, what I always say is, a run of the mill DJ. Okay, no run of the mill DJs here. But that being said, check out Chemical Brothers, because honestly, Come With Us, the album before that, is really good. Dig Your Own Hole, that's where Black Rock and Beats came from, but also Setting Sun came from that. The Private Psychedelic Reel and Electro Bank. That album, Dig Your Own Hole, and that track that we played earlier was from 1997. That's when I first heard it. Wow, that is a long time ago. And in that time period of my life, I was deep in the metal world, and honestly did not appreciate this until a little bit later, which I'm actually glad that I appreciated these guys, because if I did not appreciate them, I really don't know if I would have been able to expand my musical horizons as much as I have. So, Chemical Brothers, check them out. Really great albums. If you like laid back, they do it. If you like more upbeat, they do it. They do every type of style in what they are bringing to the table in electronic. Okay, big beat, techno, house, but they all do it with it. It's a different style, just like Daft Punk. They sound nothing alike. Definitely worth checking out. Take a little time and spin some of their albums. John Mayall, he's been on my mind lately. Passed away in July, but when he passed away, I had been promising myself I wanted to start digging deep into his catalog. Um, Blues Breakers, John Mayall, a great album that honestly was very, very unfamiliar that he uh, was even what's the word I'm looking for, that he does guitar, because on this album he plays piano, organ, and harmonica. But Eric Clapton's on this album. John McVie from Fleetwood Mac plays bass. Huey Flint. This is my introduction to John Mayall. A really great album. Hideaway. What Did I Say? Parkman Farms. Really, really good stuff. But if you want to get to even really awesome stuff, as you start digging into his 70s catalog, which 10 Years Are Gone is the album that I kind of got started with, just to kind of hear about it, because I was hearing that it was just a little jazz, a little this, a little that, jazz blues. 82 minutes long at 14 tracks. Last track 17 minutes. Very impressive, very awesome. Do not hear too many people talk about and sing the praise of the amazing John Mayall, but honestly, he has a great, great, great voice. He plays guitar amazingly, and he's another one that's just really sad that he kind of passed away, and just altogether, because you think to yourself, I mean, yes, we sadly we have to mourn his passing, but we have to honor these great, great albums that he has released, because he is somebody who definitely has a great set of hair if you're looking online. I wish my hair looked that good for this show. Sadly, it does not. Love the track title, Sunny Boy Blow. What a cool album title. But again, if you haven't dug into John Mayall or the world of John Mayall, definitely may be time to start. Blues, jazz, does a little of it all, mixes it together. Definitely worth it. Um, what also is worth it is we are here. Okay, we are in the realm of what I like to call the coolest time of the year. Okay, as soon as October 1st hits, it's scary movies, scary music, as you heard earlier with those amazing articles that are on the sadisticpenguinstudios.com. One track a day, but let's take a look at some really scary albums that honestly are I feel like I'm like in the album right here, which is kind of cool in its own way. But you got Ozzy's Bark at the Moon. Okay, we have definitely talked about Ozzy. We've mentioned Bark at the Moon. Ozzy wearing werewolf attire has to be something that is up there and amazingly epic in the 80s, because you think of all the artists. Okay, like, can you imagine Neil Diamond dressing as a werewolf? It'd be cool, but I just don't think that would have happened, because he was used to wearing nice suits and cool shirts. Where Ozzy, okay, he could go out and be like, okay, I'm gonna dress as a wolf, and he does, just like on their his last band before he was a solo artist, Black Sabbath. I mean, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath album cover is super, super, super scary. You got like someone laying on a bed covered in snakes with a skull. First album is very scary. Creepy girl staring in the distance with creepy letters in a creepy house. Um, Lots of albums are scary. Also, are very scary are anything pretty much by the amazing Iron Maiden. Okay, you just take their albums and just put them, all make them as recreations on your front lawn. Really, you're not going to be disappointed in the arena of scaring people. Okay, Fear of the Dark, that creature that's in the trees. If you've ever seen the amazing Twilight Zone, the movie, it looks like the creature on the plane, but very, very scary. Also scary is the Peter Gabriel album, where it looks like he's melting on the front cover. If you're watching live, it is on the screen. King Crimson, in the court of King Crimson, very scary. A man screaming or mouth open, but for what? And his nostrils are inflared. Definitely scary. And what albums out there have scared you? Okay, because we've all probably seen an album at some point in our life that it has scared us in one way or another. Earlier we talked about Helter Skelter. If you're watching on the screen, the Amazing Beatles, okay, they had an album where they had a bunch of baby dolls and the parts were all apart, and it was called Yesterday and Today. A lot of people were scared by that. Dio, never too shy having scary album covers, is the amazing Dio. Um, Definitely, again, any artist from the period of heavy metal, uh, they are now actually scary, but at a point they could have been labeled as, well, they were scary when you were younger, but now they're like super cool. Like Judas Priest, Painkiller. I mean, you see that as 4 or 5. You may super scared. I mean, the tire of a motorcycle, if you've ever seen one, it's not a tire, it's a blade. And the person in the motorcycle's head is like a dragon, but it's just really cool to see artists make cool, scary album covers. I mean, they don't happen as much as they should. Something like Korn's debut, we mentioned them coming to town. They came to town last Saturday. Okay, put on a heck of a show, an excellent show. Scary front album cover is, little girl on a swing, and there's just like a shadow of somebody standing there. If that's not creepy and that's not scary, you really don't know what really is or what really could be in any regard. There's the Queen album cover, News of the World. They're all look bloody and some robot is holding them. There's a really creepy, if you've never seen Apex, what are they called? The hold on a second here. I'm trying to think of their name here. The Apex Twins. Definitely spooky album cover with the gentleman's face just platter. All of their albums really scary. Not scary, but cool is Misfits, their collection 2, which we've talked about the Misfits before on here. And honestly, really cool stuff. What's also really cool is when you got bands like Cannibal Corpse, just people just, Slayer. We always talk about Slayer's always a really great scary album cover. A list that I had looked up, it was like the scariest of all time. They had some really good stuff on the list. Some band Autopsy, okay, really cool. Severed Survival. Check out this album cover. It is amazingly really cool. Some album covers I was just too afraid to put up on the screen because I did not want to scare you. I tried to pick the least scary ones. Please know that that Bruce Dickinson, who is the lead singer of Iron Maiden, clown holding the bat, waving, jester is spooky. I apologize. Alice Cooper, definitely cool album cover, wrapped up in a snake, is really awesome. Sam Hain, November Coming, Fire. Cool album cover, real scary. Unsane. I mean, anything with a lot of blood that looks like it's like really coming from somewhere is definitely scary. Again, like we always talk about, definitely want to stay clear of scaring anybody, but it is Halloween, and we're just excited to be sharing just really cool Halloween stuff. I mean, you say to yourself again, okay, you got Alice Cooper with his face on somebody's palm. It's kind of strange if you really think about that one. Um, but again, Rush's Roll the Bones, kicking a skull. That's always kind of cool, kicking a skull. There's always the intrivial. Some people could have been scared at the Guns N' Roses cross with the 5 skulls. But what we know here is that Eddie isn't going to scare us from Iron Maiden. But that Iron Maiden live album, if you have not checked it out, is really, really, really awesome. And it is really, really, really amazing. And if you could just sit and listen to Iron Maiden and stare at their album covers all October, I think you're going to be doing just fine. Definitely want to thank you for joining me tonight because I definitely appreciate it. Had a really great time digging into this music. Before I go, we've got some really awesome stuff, like I said, coming up tonight here in about an hour. We're going to come back with At the Show podcast, and we're going to be talking about some of the scariest vampire movies, coolest vampire movies as a whole, and some other surprises. So check in a cool soundtrack at the end that you're going to want to stick around for. But also, we have a really awesome a shirt that we've put together with a penguin wearing the very amazing Jason Voorhees outfit. Can't tell we love Halloween around here. Honestly, it was the holiday that in my house we grew up, it seemed to be more important to my father than, well, any other holiday, because he said you get to just have a lot of fun. And honestly, these songs that we're going to be talking about, these movies, everything here, that awesome, amazing Grateful Ducks, obviously amazing tonight. Thank you so much, Brewhand Luke, for starting us off. Like I said, check out all the other awesome stuff we got going on. Going to be on It's Getting Drafty in here this upcoming Tuesday. We're going to be doing amazing disaster flicks. Going to be cool to see digging into that myself, the amazing Aloha Mr. Hand, my amazing friend Magnificent Stan. It's going to be a great time. Check out again later today at the show. Please come back, watch. It's going to be a good time. Everybody out there, thank you so much for spending time and letting us always talk about really, really good music and really, really just rocking and rolling. And tonight was no different. So let's wrap this up and say we will see you soon. And everyone take care. My name is Tony. This is the Hookup on Music. We will see you next Friday for episode 91.
Thank you for listening. Please look out for the audio version wherever you jam.